Okay, we will, I will start by saying if you are here to remonstrate, speak for or against a permit, there's a sheet up here that you'll need to fill out. Make sure you fill it out legibly. If you are just here for a new transfer or renewal of a permit, you do not need to fill out that form. All right, we will call to order the local alcoholic beverage board for the city of New Haven. Today is November 10th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Board members present: Dan Briggenberg,
Chris Spur,
Pat Pastrick.
We have 3 items on the agenda, 1 renewal and 2 new applications. The renewal is RR02-02253 Beer Wine Liquor Restaurant for Carl's Tavern. There are no violations. If there's no discussion from the board, I'd look for a motion to approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve in a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. The new applications are RR02-42931 Beer New, and that is an underlying, and then RR02-42932 Beer Wine Liquor Restaurant New for Oak Haven. We do have a representative here. Sir, if you could have a seat up here for me. And did you bring your affidavit of compliance?
Yes.
Did Mary Ann send that with you? Thank you. And if I could have you state your name for the record, please.
Larry Redmond.
And actually, real quick, I gotta go ahead and just swear everybody in. If you're here speaking for or against a permit, or if you're here for a new transfer application, please raise your right hand. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the answers you have given on your application or the testimony you may give or response to the questions asked by this board to be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Redmond, you want to tell us about your business and your plans for your alcohol permit?
We purchased, it was an event center called the Orchid. And, they kind of, when COVID came along, it killed it. So the father, the gal that was running it, her father was the one that purchased it. And he put it up for sale. We bought it. The plan is to have some kind of steakhouse in it. And we want to have hours like 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock. We don't want afternoon drunks and all that kind of thing.
And no late night crowd, obviously.
I'm sorry.
And no late night crowd, just kind of a dinner crowd.
Right.
Okay. When do you anticipate opening?
It's probably going to be next summer before we get it open.
Okay.
We've got to pave the parking lot. We're completely redoing the inside of it. It's got a huge kitchen in it, but I own a company called AccuTemp Products. We make kitchen commercial cooking equipment. So we're going to redo the kitchen, and plan is to have a really good menu. We've got at AccuTemp, we've got 3 degreed chefs that work for us, and those guys come up with some dynamite stuff. So that's the plan.
Okay. I'm sure Mary Ann has already filed an escrow request. And then just when you're close with your, in about 3 weeks of opening, just have her reach out to me and we'll take care of your inspection at that time.
Okay.
Okay? Discussion from the board?
Any experience, sir, dealing with alcohol in a retail situation?
I'm gonna say no. At one time there was a gal that ran the tavern in New Haven called East Haven. I lent her some money, so essentially I was a part owner in it, but I didn't partake in any of the management of it. So, you know, my main thing is manufacturing and sales. So this is kind of a new venture. But the facility itself is on 10 acres. It's a 14,000 square foot building. And then there is a borrow pit in the back. It's a 10-acre pond. When the state built I-469, they dug out this borrow pit to elevate 469. So it's a beautiful pond, 10 acres. So yeah, I bought it mainly for the ground. It's so pretty back there.
You intend to hire a manager, someone with
Oh,
experience?
yeah, I'm not gonna get involved in that.
Do you have any questions for us?
None really. I mean, is this a go now or
So it goes from us to the state for final approval.
when did they approve?
They meet the first and the third Tuesday of every month. And then once that's done, it's gonna go into escrow. So it'll just be on hold until you're ready to open.
Gotcha.
There's no discussion. Look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion to approve in second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, that will conclude the meeting for New Haven. Thank you, Mr. White.
I believe.
You can hang out, you can leave,
Your
whatever
voice
you
is
want.
good.
What?
Nothing.
Nope. You're always needed.
See.
Okay, it is 9:36, and we will call to order the local alcoholic beverage board for Allen County. Board members present, Dan Greenberg,
Chris Spur.
Pat Pastor?
Diane Klinsky.
we have 41 items on the agenda. Mostly renewals without violations, we have a few violations, and new and transfer applications. I will start with items that are to be continued. First is RR 02-23790, beer wine renewal for Hawkins House of Fish. They are still in the last phases of settling their issues. DL 02-32499, beer wine liquor package store for A1 package. They have recently received a violation. They will be continued until that is settled. RR 02-42903, beer wine liquor restaurant for Cocktails Lounge is continued at the request of the applicant as they were not able to make the hearing today. RR 02-42944, beer wine restaurant for Champs Nashville Hot Chicken is continued. They did not have their sign posted. RH 02-30398, beer wine liquor hotel for Best Western is continued as their sign was posted incorrectly. Now we will move on to renewals. They are as follows. DL 02-00316, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-01794, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-02342, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-08071, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-08075, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-08472, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-10072, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-10594, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-95306, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. RC 02-07864, beer wine liquor fraternal club for Fort Wayne Turners. RR 02-01950, beer wine liquor restaurant, La Margarita. RR 02-06289, beer wine liquor restaurant for Henry's. DL 02-08581, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. RR 02-05524, beer wine liquor restaurant, Bootleggers. RR 02-19517, beer wine restaurant, Mi Paria. DL 02-04734, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. DL 02-07949, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. RR 02-33745, beer wine restaurant, Faux Indie. RR 02-33780, beer wine restaurant, Hop River. RR 02-35122, beer wine liquor restaurant, Lalo's. RR 02-36529, beer wine liquor restaurant, Granite City. DL 02-04240, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. RR 02-38064, beer wine restaurant, Steady Eddie's. DL 02-95307, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. RR 02-39528, beer wine liquor restaurant for Acme by Full Circle. RR 02-40163, beer wine liquor restaurant, Lucky Turtle. DL 02-11415, beer wine liquor package store, Belmont Beverage. And RR 02-42329, beer wine retailer for Deer Park Irish Pub. There's no discussion from the board. I'd look for a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to renewals with violations. First up is RR 02-07083, beer wine liquor restaurant renewal for Break and Run.
By the way, if your name was called in the last group and we were approved, you're free to go. There's no reason to have to stay.
Except for Belmont. Yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
I could have everyone state their names, please.
Kirk Smith.
Sarah Stevenson.
I'm Mark Webb, Indianapolis, on behalf of Tonzi Inc., Break and Run LLC. We're here for renewal after violations. What happened was, this permit had been operated for years, 15 or so years, under a management agreement with the prior owner, a gentleman by the name of John Dennis. Mr. Dennis passed away in, 2021 or something like that.
Oh my God.
And for years, Mr. Smith, who had been the manager, had Mr. Dennis's authority to sign renewals. And after Mr. Dennis died, Mr. Smith, believing that he still had the authority, continued to renew the permit under Mr. Dennis's name because it hadn't been transferred to him. This ended up resulting in charges of or violations written for false ownership, and the remedy for this, the settlement with the commission was to have the permit transferred, as soon as possible. And, also they were put on the PACE program. So, if I could.
If I may, PACE was continued because they were already on PACE, correct?
Correct, they were
PACE was-
put on, well,
PACE was to follow the new ownership.
correct, but I think they were put on PACE. They were put on PACE, because of I believe, a violation that occurred in January of 2024. Does that sound about right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we had a violation in January of 2024. They were put on PACE. Vis-a-vis, those allegations, I don't believe we had any other issues that related to that. Then what ended up getting them tripped up was the, issue of signing the, renewal, in Mr. Dennis's name when he was in fact deceased. So as a result of all this, Mr. Dennis's widow, Cheryl Dennis, was recognized, she was appointed by the court as the administrator of her husband's estate. The commission agreed to allow her to be put on the permit as the administrator of the estate of John Dennis, and we changed the ownership over to that. And then now finally, in addition to resolving the violation, as part of the condition of resolving it, it is, a transfer has been filed to, Break and Run. And, so I guess what I would at least want the board to hear is how things have been going since, let's talk about the time, if you will. You got the violation back in January of last year, so almost, well, a year and 3/4 ago. What have you done to eliminate the problems of, related to public safety, order, that type of thing at the bar? What have you done?
As of when we were closed down for 4 months, January to the end of, April. And so we were able to reopen on May 1st. So before
You're speaking of this year, correct?
correct, I'm sorry, for this year. And we felt that the reason for the most of the problems was the dance club we have next door, the Q. And so we decided to completely revamp the music, which has helped 1,000%. Obviously, I'm sure you guys heard that before. And then, we closed the doors off at 2 a.m. so nobody else is allowed back in. We have meetings all the time about, with the security. When they see somebody looks intoxicated or even think they're intoxicated, just say, hey, we're not gonna let you in tonight. Please come back another night. And even if they're wrong, I'd rather have them be wrong than, right than wrong. So, we've done that. Like I said, we have meetings all the time about if everybody's over serving, if anybody looks like they're having too much to drink, if they're in the building, that's under control. Ever since May 1st, it's just been smooth as silk. We've had 0 issues, no fights, no anything. And we felt that, and then we've also made changes inside the club to upscale, make it look better. It doesn't look like a hole in the wall or anything, but looks really nice in there. We've had a lot of compliments. A lot of people come back. They said the environment feels a lot better. And so I feel like we've made some really good changes and accomplishments.
Can you give them an idea? You've talked about, you have meetings with your security. What is your security? Tell them what personnel you have, how you're working them, what instructions do you give them? What authority do they have to carry out those instructions? Are there limits placed on what they can do?
Yep.
How many people do you have? How many cameras do you have?
Yep. Which I was in front of you guys, I believe, last year, but we do have, state-of-the-art camera system. We have like 32 cameras. Every inch of the parking lot, every inch inside. We even have, camera that takes pictures, not pictures, but just license plates as people are leaving, whatever. So if there's ever an incident, even in the whole entire plaza, it zooms in on their plate and it helps the police, if there's any issues. We have all that. But I do have my security. I have, six security. And their job is obviously to watch the door, make sure nobody's intoxicated before they come in. They walk around and look for body language. I taught them this. I've been in the business 40 years. Then if there's any trouble whatsoever, even if we see somebody that's had too much to drink, we immediately go over there and say, hey, we felt like you have too much to drink tonight. So, we need you to leave, and you're more than welcome to come back another time. We do not let anybody stay in there once we cut them off, because they'll sneak another drink some way or another. They've taught to do that. We have that scanner deal where we scan their IDs, and there's 13 bars all hooked up. So obviously if you get banned from one, you're banned from all, or if any trouble whatsoever, we're all connected, which has really helped out a lot over the years. Myself and a couple other bars, we started it a few years ago. That's really helped a lot. But they're not allowed, the security is not allowed to ban anybody without our approval. My approval and Sierra's approval. She's my manager. And, other than that, we have the walk-in, we have the scanner, like at the airport, you walk through the metal detector, we have that. And if it goes off, we also have the wands. We also wand them. So we make sure that nobody has anything whatsoever, which has worked out wonderful.
So is it, just to be very clear, it's your policy that no weapons of any kind
No.
are allowed?
No, not even mace.
In the, inside your establishment?
Correct. Not anything whatsoever, not even mace or anything. Correct.
And you've been able to enforce that?
100%. Yep. So ever since we, like I said, May 1st is, we really cracked down. And I feel so much better. The place is ran better than it ever has before. And, cause, kind of, to be honest with you, over at one of the bars for so many years, you kind of just let it run and don't think about it. But that's my fault for letting it get as far as it did. But once I took back over, got things back in, tight and running like it should be, things have been just so much better.
Okay, so you're on pace now, right?
Yes.
And if I could, Officer Greenberg, I checked with, our prosecutor, Mr. Wignall. The pace is to run through February of next year.
Correct.
Okay, so tell us about your relationship with the state excise police, because you've had to deal with them now on pace.
Yes.
So tell us about interactions you've had with them, you and Sierra have had with them.
Yeah. When they come in, obviously there's a new law that came in where, even security and everybody has to have a liquor license and that safe training deal. So they came in that day, then that following Friday, I think, or I don't know the dates, and checked with us, and Sierra was already on top of it, had everything posted. I mean, everything. And when they came in, they were so happy to see how organized we were with all the paperwork. They really like Sierra because they've been dealing with her since we've been reopened, and she's been doing amazing work to control everything.
We did get a warning though, some of the security, well, the reason we knew about the law was the news article about the bar owners not knowing about the law. And so when they came in, I was like, yeah, when does that go into effect? Half of them had it, half of them hadn't, even though I'd sent messages out. But because of the paperwork, instead of a violation, we got a warning for that. I'm sure you've seen.
Because we didn't find out about the new law right when it kicked in.
And they said they could tell I was on top of it, which is why they gave us a warning
And they said-
instead, and I got
So
it done
everybody's
the
got
same
them
night.
now,
Oh,
right?
100%. No,
Yeah, nope,
immediately.
the next day.
As soon as they
It was
said
all
that, immediately, we were already on top of it. We just one slipped through the
I didn't know exactly when it had.
right because of the time frame.
Right,
So
but essentially, you would indicate to the board that at this point, you feel like you've got a good working relationship, not only with the state excise police, but I assume that you have to deal with the Fort Wayne Police Department.
Correct,
And I assume at times you might have to deal with the Allen County Sheriff's Department.
rarely.
Um, but you have had no issues with any of them since you reopened in May.
If they had any questions, or if they, you know, obviously if they get any complaints, whatever, they have to do a follow-up or whatever. Every time they came in, they did the follow-up, they were totally satisfied because of my camera system. There's one time we sat in the office for 2 hours going through the camera system on supposedly somebody called in a complaint or whatever, but he was totally satisfied, didn't see anything wrong. So every time they come in, I help them out, I show them my camera system. We want to find their problem. If they come to me, I want to know what it is so I can make sure it doesn't happen again. But every single time they have been satisfied. And the relationship of excise and us right now is probably better than it ever has been in 19 years I've been open there. So, you know, we're really trying really, really hard. And I think we're doing a fantastic job. And a lot of people are coming back and just recognizing that. Even the neighborhood association, the president, she comes in every week and she decides she just loves our place and the way the changes are. They feel so much better and she hears nothing whatsoever about anything about our bar anymore. So, you know, that's a good thing.
I don't have any questions. We'll take questions from the board.
Yeah, so your initial violation, the first one was for public nuisance for issues that you had at the bar, violence and such. The second one was for the falsification. And that, how many renewals were submitted under Mr. Dennis's name?
Let's see, Mr. Dennis would have died in twenty
Post his
twenty-one.
passing.
Right, so
22.
it would have been 2022 to 23.
Yep.
So 2 renewals,
No, 22 to 23 would have been one.
right?
23 to 24 would have been
The second
two.
one.
And then 24 to 25
Is us now.
was 3. But that one, we withdrew and submitted an amended renewal on that one to list Cheryl Dennis, and she signed that one and authorized that one to be
Right.
filed. So it would have
As the
been
head of the estate of her
correct.
late husband.
Yes. So, I mean, for record purposes, 2 years worth of renewals
Okay.
were submitted. And then, if it's approved for transfer, of course, everything would be under Break and Run LLC from that point going forward, you know. if
Right,
that
no
happens.
longer Kanzi Inc.
Correct.
Okay. And then could you update us on your criminal case related to this?
No,
What happened to the criminal case? They charged you criminally.
well, yeah, they put me on a deferral program.
On deferral for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that'll be up here in February.
So February of 2026, and they will dismiss.
Yeah. And they'll drop everything. As long as I didn't have any more issues.
Right, as long as you complete
Yep.
deferral, it'll
Yeah,
be wrapped
everything's
up
been
then.
fine since then. I've been in contact with my attorney for that one.
You mean as far as like issues with the license? Let me see here.
Today's a renewal, right? You guys are talking about a transfer? Is there
Right,
something else going
the
on?
transfer is on here as well, but the permit has to be renewed first.
Yeah.
And because they have a violation, that's why we're
I see.
talking, all right? Last violation was in 2013. That looks like, did you run it back in 2013?
I've owned it since day one, 2006.
Okay, all right, so that was, looked like off-site catering without permission.
Yeah, we had that casino next door.
That was their last issue prior.
So all the issues we've discussed have been addressed, fines have been paid.
Yes, so they had $1,000 fine for the first violation, $1,000 fine plus, the transfer of the permit for the second.
And the other thing to consider also is the fact that, they were forced to close. When this all came up, they closed down, I believe it would have been like the first week of January.
Yeah, it was right after New Year's.
They closed, they were not allowed to, until everything was fixed to the satisfaction of the commission, they were not allowed to reopen. And everything was finally done. They got, including having a visit with at least, 2 or 3 excise officers and the prosecutor in April. So they weren't able to get permission to reopen until, I think it was
It was
May
May
1st.
first. No, it was a Friday, May first.
Friday, May 1st, they opened.
Could you give me some insight into your reasoning as for that delay in those, just,
For the transfer?
Yeah.
Why it took 6 months?
Well, I hired, I had a different attorney. But when I found out that John Dennis died, I didn't find out until a year later than he passed. And,
I think he's referencing from the resolution of the falsification violation, when they said you had to transfer the permit back in April of this year. Why are we just now seeing it in November, I think is the question.
We filed the transfer in, and that would be, I mean, I had issues with other things. He ended up actually getting everything appropriately signed, but we had to get additional, signatures on the stuff. This was, the new transfer was filed on, October the 3rd. And, that was in large part issues that I had in terms of,
I
Stuff
thought where
that I
she
had.
signed over on October 2nd, so.
well, the reason it was signed, it was signed before then. We had to redo those consents because just as a matter of record, so you all know, commission won't take anything over 90 days old. So we had to re-sign everything. So I changed the dates and we had to send them up and he had to re-sign those. He had signed, Cheryl Dennis had signed a consent back in, I want to say, April. Well, Cheryl Dennis withheld signing the consent until she was finally paid.
So she did initially withhold.
She withheld, correct, because he didn't make that last payment until, in September.
So that is,
So then we got the consent to finally transfer. We had everything else done. We had our Form 1, property tax clearance, the surveyor form, affidavits of purchase price and all that stuff. But because he didn't finish paying, as part of the schedule for all the stuff that she went in, that she had to deal with, because she had to hire counsel too over this. And so that added additional money beyond what he'd already agreed to pay for the permit. And so that added us another, what,
10,000.
it was another 10,000, which was, I think, spread out over 5 months.
Yeah, cause I being closed down for 4 months when all this happened, I lost everything. I had to sell everything I ever built. So basically, when we reopened, it was just like starting over again. I mean, I literally lost everything.
and you weren't aware that he was deceased for a year?
At least a year. I didn't even know, cause I didn't really hear from him a lot, cause he was always busy. And he always says, hey, send it in. And if I can't get a hold of me, he gave me the word, say, hey, go ahead and sign my name. And never had that problem before until towards the end, so. And I thought it was kind of weird. I couldn't get a hold of him. And I really didn't know his wife too well. And when she did finally get a hold of me through a friend, I found out through another person that he passed. So I was trying to find her number. So I kept calling people and said, do you know John Dennis's wife's, all that kind of stuff. So when I finally got a hold of her, she just told me straight up, she knew nothing of his businesses, nothing. So it was like, we were trying to work together and, she was very nice and everything. And, so that's where it all started, just, moving forward.
Were you not aware that as the manager with an MQ on file, that you have the authority to file renewals without putting his name on there?
I did not know that. You can do that without putting his name on there?
If you're the MQ,
Yeah.
you list yourself as the applicant. You can still list him in ownership. But as the person filing the application, you would be the applicant.
Oh,
If you have an MQ on file, you have the authority to do that.
okay. I did not know that.
He didn't know that.
I did not know that. I know
He
that, I would have done
continued
it.
to list John Dennis.
So I'll tell you, I appreciate, how serious you've taken this and the efforts you've made. I'm thrilled to hear that it's paying off for you.
Yes, thank you.
It's great.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't believe so. You have any questions? No?
We're good.
Make a motion to approve renewal.
Second.
Okay, motion approved in second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Passes 3-1. And then we can go ahead and discuss the transfer as well, since you guys are already up here. And this will be right here, there we go. RR 02-43012, Deerwine Liquor Restaurant transfer for Break and Run LLC. You have your affidavit?
We do, and I just need, I sent, you recall when you posted, cause you never snatched out of
Yeah, we,
the picture. Of, in October.
I took a snap.
Or the 29th, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a picture of that. Oh, I forgot I hit this.
All right, so we're gonna indicate that the sign was posted on, we'll call it 10/29.
Excise did stop by last week and took pictures and everything.
Right, yeah, that was me.
That was you? Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna sign that, right, where it says signature of partner.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. All right, may I?
Yeah, Mark, can you bring that stack of papers with you too for me? The remonstrator list.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. You can just bring the whole thing.
Yeah.
Point. Okay,
Oh, that was for, I got you.
well, it was for whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody filled it out.
Right.
Alright, not gonna have you state your names again, cause we're gonna break discussion. Board, do you need any further information on the transfer?
No.
So
I
this
think it was
removes,
pretty well
does this
covered.
remove the widow?
Right,
Yes.
this was fully transferred into
It'll be just Schuler now.
the Break and Run
Right,
LLC,
see,
which is 100% you, right?
100%.
And then Sierra is your manager.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Second.
And much to approve in a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Aye. Motion passes 3-1. I will note that, my motion is based on the falsification of the applications, not that you haven't been running a good business, but just, for the filing false applications for 2 years is the reason that I'm voting to deny. But you're overall approved, and it'll go to the state for final review. Yep,
Thank you very much.
yep, so you guys are good to go.
Thank you.
No, you didn't. I know.
And
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
thank you. Next item is DL 02-11427, Beer Run Liquor Package Store for Belmont Beverage on East DuPont. Morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Daniel Kazmarek.
You spell your last name for me?
K A C is in cat, Z is in zebra, M-A-R-E-K.
Thank you. And are you familiar with the violation from February?
Yes.
You wanna go ahead and tell us about that and the steps you've taken to fix that?
So Heather, was terminated on May sixth of this year. My understanding is that she did apply for a permit, application to the grace period expired because they asked for additional information, which was a driver's license from a different state, or driver record from a different state. So at the time of the violation, we moved her into our warehouse, which doesn't require a permit, and gave her so much time to settle the violation and to get her license. She failed to, so we terminated her.
Okay.
Oh, and then while I was searching this morning to make sure I was covering everything, I did see that you guys do a license watch now. Is that something new?
I'm not sure what that is.
So I found that, and I'm gonna suggest to ownership that we enter in all our employee permits to help us organize our permits. So with 400 employees, we depend on store level to make sure that everybody was in compliance. And of course, then that there's human error there, which I want to try to eliminate by using this.
Okay, so this will notify you
Yeah, this is on your ATC
when they're
website.
coming close to expiration?
Yeah, so that'll help us maybe organize it between both Indiana and ourselves.
That's great.
It's reasonable price, $50 a month to help us make sure everybody's in compliance. So we look forward to do that.
Discussion?
Just so I understand the violation, she sold something without her license.
No, she had applied back in September, and when you apply for a server's permit, your application is good for 90 days. If you've not received your permit by then you're not licensed.
Okay.
And she was out of that 90 days and she was still serving, having not received her license, because if you've had a driver's license in another state, you have to submit that driving record. But she failed to do that. So she was she was unlicensed while she was serving.
But if she had stayed back in a warehouse, she would have been fine.
Right, if she was not serving,
Right, yeah,
but I
so,
think that they wanted her to get her license.
right.
Okay.
That's why we moved her to the warehouse, but then she still didn't follow through. So we just got rid of her.
And you're comfortable, you have a process to avoid this in the future.
Yeah, so after something new, this is new, I mean, generally this doesn't happen. So we do have meetings every month with our managers. So when things like this occur, we review this with our managers, and then ultimately we make our district managers accountable. So we have a accountability tier, from store level to managers to DMs, and ultimately the DM and HR need to follow up after that 90 days to make sure it was issued correctly. But Indiana's offering a new way to help track this, and we plan on subscribing to this program.
Like you said, to eliminate that human error element.
Error, yeah, absolutely.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved in second. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Good to go.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Thank you very much.
Good. Dan?
Yeah?
There's a question.
Yes. No, you guys are, did you not, my reply email, you guys are continued until you settle it with the prosecutor.
So we can't have the hearing today?
Correct, because it's not been settled.
Okay.
So once you guys settle it,
Okay.
then we'll have your hearing. And then, like I said in my email, you may need to apply for an extension.
Oh, I did that already.
Okay, yep. Then you're good to go now. We'll schedule you for next month, and if it's done before then you guys can come back then. Next item is RR 02-32711, beer wine liquor restaurant renewal for Pike's Pub. Morning.
Good morning.
Can you say your name for the record, please?
Kelly Roos, RUSC.
Thank you. And you're the owner of the permit?
Yes.
Okay. This violation occurred in June. You want to tell us what happened and what you have done to take care of the situation?
Yeah. Well, I think it was May 31st is when the incident happened. It was a Friday night, I believe. And this gentleman, James Simmons III, he came to our table. I was there for a little while. He bought everybody around at that table, and I think in reverse, we bought around back. And he was introducing himself, and I've never met him. I'm not there too often. I was trying to take some time back since I thought I had some good managers in place. Because I have a new granddaughter, so my life is trying to be a babysitter. But he asked me then about wanting to have karaoke night through the week for his people. And I said, for your people, I said, I can't really shut down my bar just so you can have a private karaoke night. And he said, well, if anything gets out of hand or anything like that, that he would take care of it. And I was down there to sit and just talk with people and visit. And finally, this gentleman would not leave me alone. I asked him, I even put it in my phone to meet him the next day at 3:00, and we sit down and talk about it. I said, I didn't want to talk about it anymore. Everybody's been drinking. I'll meet you the next day. I even popped up on my phone the next day. He would not leave me alone. He just kept going on and on and on. And finally, I had somebody just take me home. I said, I just want to go home. And it was about 9:30. Next thing I know, I was getting a call from police or excise. I can't remember because it was about, I think, around 12:15 at night. And they said what was going on, was having a fight down there. Well, for about, this gentleman was there most of the evening. And I do know that the bartender, she finally had to cut him off because he kept antagonizing my fiance about wanting to have this karaoke, and multiple of our customers were even saying, just let it go. Everybody was getting tired of it. People were leaving because of it. And then he was also, Doug put up with it for quite a while, from around 7 until that fight happened, until around 11:00 at night or whatever. And it was maybe, he didn't pay his tab. He didn't pay his tab yet. Our bartender, Samantha, she cut him off. We've asked him to leave multiple times. He would go out the door, he would come back in, and then he was going, Doug, do you want me to leave, Doug? Or Doug's like, no, I want you to sit down and have a good time with the rest of us. And, because this really is a little family neighborhood bar, but we noticed, I'm sorry, I kind of got off track, but we noticed that after the 19th hole closed in the bar downtown, it was a jazz bar or something, we started getting some troublemakers in our bar. And we were looking at trying to get security in there, because I was told Friday night it was at late at night was getting kind of bad. So we were working in the middle of all that. But I know Doug called 911 finally. He said, we got a guy in here that wanted to fight. He tried picking a fight with a gentleman that came out of the bathroom and shoulder chucked him. And then another gentleman who was in there, he tried fighting him for wanting to have something from years ago. And then there was 2 of the other guys that just said, please sit down. Nobody wants to hear this anymore. Just sit down, have a good time. And so then he wanted to fight them. He really wanted to have a fight. I know this gentleman paralyzed the guy from the neck down. Now we have found out from multiple bar fights he's been in, but he's had his own issues. We found out he wasn't even supposed to be in that bar or any bar, because he's had 2 DUIs and he just got picked up for driving with a suspended license, and no CDL, which he drives a semi.
Let's.
But
keep
I'm
it
sorry.
relevant to this.
Okay, but I know the girls, they cut him off. They asked him to please pay his tab. He was asked to leave multiple times, and finally 911 was called, and he said, we're ready, this guy wants to fight. We need him out of here. We can't get him out. And then when they did show up, it was a little later. just because they had had the shooting at the Coliseum for the Wayne graduation ceremony that night, and then that elderly lady that was shot and killed too for that night. So they said everybody was kind of involved with that. Our camera system, I was getting in the middle of putting a new camera system in because we had new ceilings put in and that were taken down, but we actually found out from the gentleman that this is not even has anything to do with Pikes, but the gentleman they found in the dumpster that had to do with jealousy, ex-lover stuff. It had nothing to do with Pikes Pub, but that when the lady detective came to take the footage off of that, that's when they found, because they took my video box when they were ready to look at everything, but they said it wasn't working since then. So something happened with the box when they were taking the video off of that for the for that case, which has nothing to do with Pikes Pub. But now I closed down the first week myself just for safety reasons. I didn't want anything to happen in that to any employees or customers. Because we all had multiple death threats. I even had death threats against my little 8-month-old grandbaby. And then we were shut down for the 3 days. Some of the things that I had to hire security for the first like 3 months or so, which is very expensive. And that little bar doesn't make that kind of money to have that on 24 or 24/7 for the days of. But now that, and we also did away with certain music on the jukebox, closing down early through the week.
What's early?
I'm sorry.
What's early?
A lot of times like last night was 10 o'clock. So it just kind of depends. If they notice they're not having us after a few customers, then they'll shut it down. Sometimes the GM guys, they'll call and ask, hey, we're going to bring this many with us, like 3, 4, 5 guys, and we'll stay open for them because they want to come and get food and that. So they do know they call the bartender specifically if they're going to come, but the bartenders, they just close down early, which we haven't been real busy. So, we stopped carrying certain liquor at the bar. But yes, we haven't had any issues since this issues happened. It kind of got rid of the troublemakers that were coming in.
How long have you owned the business?
Well, for just myself would be since 2016 when I went through my divorce. But other than that, that bar's been there for a little over 20 years. I owned it with my ex-husband since day one.
Prior to 2016?
Yes.
Right.
Which
So you
would have
were
been about
involved-
20 years.
So about 2005 or so is when you and your husband first took it over?
I believe so, right around there.
Okay. So
Well, we
you've been
opened
involved
it,
with the
yes.
business
Since it's
20
inception.
years.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
We had Peppercinis up north too for a while. Then when I went through my divorce, he took that bar
Right.
and then I took this bar, but I've never had any major issue.
The report states that James was a regular customer, so he had been there
I have never met
multiple
him.
times before. That's what your bartender had
Right.
stated.
Yeah,
So it
I've
appears this
never
was
met
not his
him,
first time
but
being
this was
there.
the first time I met him. But yes, no, he has been there before.
Okay.
Prior violation.
There was a gaming violation in 2018. Other than that, there have been no incidents there. At least since 2016 when she is owned it by herself.
I mean, what are you doing now? Be comfortable this isn't gonna happen again.
Well, we went ahead and, anybody that, they feel that comes in and the girls are asked them to leave and they can come back the next day. We do have a new security system up, the cameras. I'm sorry, my mouth is getting dry from blood pressure meds. The girls have the panic, we've had those, but I have 2 panic buttons, one behind the bar and one, in the kitchen. I've also told if they notice that there's a certain group of people coming in, that they're to call me right away or go ahead and if there's any issue, they call 911. So that was pretty much what we did. After security, I, did have security for our Halloween party, just to be on the safe side. But other than that, we haven't needed security. We're shutting down early and I took away again, the certain music on the jukebox and certain liquors. But after this happened, it's back to being that neighborhood little bar. So we have not had any issues since then.
Comments or discussion from the board?
Motion renewed.
How long is the renewal?
They're 2 years, or you can do a 1 year if you'd like. I want to make a note that, obviously this was a serious incident that occurred that
Yeah.
nobody likes to see. Clearly the community was upset.
Yeah,
In national headlines.
Yes, but,
well,
I will note that there have been other serious issues at other establishments, that have resulted in permits being approved still. And with the history of the premise with no issues, minus a small gaming issue, but this being the first incident, I think is kind of volumes. I mean, if this was a common occurrence,
Right.
where you were having the police out there every weekend, they would definitely be a bigger issue. But again, not to take any seriousness away from what happened, because it's.
no, I would never
You don't
condone
wanna see
that
anything
or
like
like
that
that.
happen anywhere.
It was, I know what the 2-minute video looked like, and I understand that, cause I
Sure,
woke
and-
up
and
that morning and I'm like, holy Toledo.
And I'm not gonna speculate because I wasn't there.
But it was 6 hours before that people will hear when their trial starts.
Sure. So that's just my 2 cents on it. You can, renewals are generally 2 years. If you're comfortable, a 1 year is an option where they will be scheduled for local board again next year. And if there are no issues at that point,
We have,
decide on it then.
and just to say, we have all races coming into our bar. We still have all races coming into our bar and they have a good time. Everybody knows that bar and who we are. And everybody says that's not who I am. I mean, I was called a white supremacist and the white supremacist business owner, and that I fostered the hunting ground for black bodies. And that is way out of line, which they don't even know me. I'm far from that. So I'm probably one of the least, I treat everybody the same way.
Diane brings up a good point. I'd like to amend that to renew it for a year.
Second.
So we have a motion for a 1 year renewal and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed, say no.
No,
Motion carries 3-1 for a 1 year renewal. And, what would your denial reason, Chris?
I just have too many questions. I'm just not comfortable with it.
Oh. Okay. So you pass 3-1 and we'll go to the state for final review.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you. Next item is RR 02-41614 Beer Wine Liquor Restaurant, K-Town Barbecue. We'll continue that to December 8th. And I will send them a letter. That is all our renewals. We'll move on to RR 02-42895 Beer Wine Liquor Restaurant transfer for Copper Forge Distilling.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you. Can you state your name for the record, please?
sure.
Ken Scribner, Scribner.
And you're the owner?
I am.
Okay. If you wanna go ahead and tell us about this transfer?
Sure. The story's not gonna be a lot different than what you heard from the Orchid, and we were actually kind of smiling over there. We know the owners, the previous owners of the Orchid as well. My son and I started Copper Forge Distilling 6 years ago. We've had an Indiana ATC permit for those 6 years, as well as the federal permit to actually distill spirits. We've had an artisan permit for 3.5 years or so. So we've been serving the public alcohol for 3.5 years without incident. Our goal was to grow the business. We're in a very tiny spot. We don't have a lot of tables, and so we wanted to relocate to a larger place. During COVID, things became difficult to find a great spot. But the Charles, or formerly the Shiloh, became available. One of the owners is ill and wanted to sell, and through happenstance, we met them and they asked if we'd like to purchase, and so we went through with all of that. Our goal with that facility is to turn it into a steakhouse restaurant, as well as we'll call it a tasting room. We don't look at it as a bar or a lounge per se. It's more a larger tasting room for our distillery, and eventually move the distillation processing up there. I would do it right off the bat, except for funding. It's exceedingly expensive. So what we'll do is continue to produce and manufacture in our original location and use this as a completely separate permit and establishment for serving the community food as well as our products. Primary.
Is this location open yet, or are you doing renovations?
It is open. We had many contracts for weddings and receptions when we took over the business, so we subsumed those contracts. And quite frankly, wanted to fulfill them. I didn't want to be, the guy who destroyed a bride's wedding day. That's not us. That's not who we are. So we've been following through with those. We actually have one more to go next weekend, and we do have a single Christmas dinner, Christmas event. After that, we're shut down, and we've completed all of the drawings for the state. We've submitted permits to the state for renovation. And then when those are returned, we'll get permits locally for renovation as well. We're actually doubling the size of the kitchen, so it all goes for sale. Doing it all new equipment, all new kitchen, everything. And then as well as taking one of the wings and setting it up as a dining area, and the other as the tasting room with a new bar set up for our craft cocktails. We're not a bar. Right? We don't, Sure. We actually make craft cocktails. It's a whole different thing. It requires a nicer setup in a bar sense. So that's
when you anticipate reopening with the new setup?
I'd hope for December. I've been saying January, but my general contractor is saying maybe early February. I'm still going to try to reel them in to the end of January.
Okay.
Quicker is better. Simply due to the funding aspect. So.
And when is your last event for the year then?
It is December 5th.
Okay. All right.
Yep, and after that, the general contractor can take over the building and do everything they need to do. And then we'll be shut down until we get occupancy permission.
Okay.
And where is it? Okay.
It's on Carroll, right, basically across from the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Meets the 200-foot requirements.
Yeah, there's no,
Okay.
it's not that close to the school. Yeah.
No, there's actually subdivision is a strong word, but there's a housing division between us as well as other individual homes. So we're fairly far away.
This would be pending an inspection on your behalf when they're done.
Yeah, so, well, I'll meet you out there and we'll do the final with the floor plan as it currently is. And then when you reopen with the new floor plan,
Sure.
reach out and we'll update that floor plan.
Oh, look forward to it.
Are you available Wednesday?
Absolutely.
Let's say I can meet you out there about 9:30.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'd love to take you through it.
All right, I will see you then.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Motion approved.
Must approve in a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries.
Did you have a question?
No,
Oh,
I was gonna ask you if you had any questions for us, but it sounds like you're good.
no, it's been illuminating listening to some of the other things, so it gives me ideas. So, definitely like to look into the website from the
That's the same
HSC.
for me.
All of our servers are licensed. Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck.
Mhm.
Oh, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is RR 42993 Beer Wine Restaurant for Mooncay Properties. Morning.
Morning.
Collect your affidavit, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
And Michael Brat, Bradt.
All right. You say Michael?
Yes.
You're the owner.
Yes, correct.
You want to go ahead and tell us about your plans for this new beer and wine permit?
Yes, so my wife and I, we owned an improv theater, an improv and sketch comedy theater in the Chicago suburbs, and we sold it a couple of years ago and moved to Fort Wayne. And I want to open one here. So that's we're not going to be like just to serve a couple of drinks. We're not going to have a drink minimum. We'll serve a couple of drinks during shows. It helps keep the doors open, keep the lights on.
When do you plan on being open?
So we're open for classes, obviously not serving anything. We're open for classes right now. I think maybe end of January is when we'll maybe do our first show, like first official show. I just need to find improvisers that are talented enough to do a good enough show. So that's kind of I've been running classes to find those people in Fort Wayne.
Okay. And then, how do you plan to do your service? Do you have a bar or is it gonna be,
Right when you walk in, and there's a room that's like a box office that has a window face. So, sorry, you walk in the doors right here, the box office, there's like a service window just to your right. And then there's like a corridor, sort of like a loungy area. And then if you go around, there's bathrooms in this area. And then we have a half door on the back end of the box office that will just serve out of there. So like we open the top half of the door and be able to serve out of there.
okay. Do you plan on being all ages?
I'm gonna do 18 and up, ideally. And so yeah, check IDs and I don't know if we'll do like a stamp or a wristband or something, but whatever you want us to do.
Well, that's up to you.
Okay.
That's not a requirement. So it's just
Okay.
gonna be whatever you feel works best for you to ensure that you're not serving minors.
And then we'll have, some shows we're doing a New Year's Eve show that we're not anticipating having an alcohol license by then. But on the 31st of December, that'll be for kids. So we are gonna have like younger than 18 in for shows like that. But those will probably be a little bit more sporadic.
What are your plans for food service?
So I know that we have to have like
You have to have
like
hot
soup
soup, hot
and
sandwiches,
sandwich.
coffee, milk.
And milk, yeah. So I know a lot of the like a hot pocket, like we'll have like a microwave in there. We'll have ramen noodles or whatever to meet those requirements. And then I spoke to the Packard Tap House where we live in Southwood Park. Because I think that our license will be relatively similar to theirs. How they got around the grease trap, not got around, but how they satisfied the grease trap requirements. And they have an online grease trap. So I'm gonna haven't done it yet because I wanted to see how this went, but install a 3-compartment sink in that like box office room. And then hopefully be able to put the grease trap right on the sink.
But have you met with the health department yet then?
I have not. No.
Okay. Cause you will need a limited food service permit from them.
That's what I figured. And yeah, and that's why I kind of applied to have it put in, escrow. They have the license put in escrow because we just don't need it yet. And I know I need to satisfy all those steps.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you my card.
Okay, thank you.
When you get within a couple weeks of needing or wanting to use the permit, reach out to me.
Great.
We'll set up a time to come and do the walkthrough.
Okay, thank you.
So Dan, will a plan be submitted
Yeah,
that addresses how alcohol's,
yeah, I mean, like, you mean like a floor plan?
yeah,
Yeah, we would already have one,
oh, okay.
but that's a requirement with the application.
Yes.
Are you gonna have a DBA?
I own the building as MK Properties. And then I'm leasing it to Fort Wayne Improv LLC, which is me.
So it'll
as
probably
well.
just be called Fort Wayne Improv.
Yes, exactly. The theater itself will be called Fort Wayne Improv.
Okay. If you get a chance, try and update that with the ATC.
Okay,
Just send Anna an email and
okay.
tell her that
Yeah.
that's your DBA.
It was a little bizarre because the first time I applied under Fort Wayne Improv LLC and they told me to do it because that wasn't the building owner, it's just a tenant. Okay, but I will for sure.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion approved, a second. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's continue. All right, finally, RR 02-43024, Beer Line Restaurant New for Los Tacos Paco 2. Good morning. I can collect your affidavit, please.
Yeah. Oh, you have to fill it out.
Have to fill it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it-
There's a pen. Oh,
There you go.
and then just let me know any information that you need.
The permit number is the RR, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Did I sign both boxes or is it?
No, just the one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And then if you could state your name for the record, please.
Geraldine Vasquez Serrano,
Spell your first name for me.
GERALDINNE.
And then your last name was Serrano.
Vasquez.
Okay. And you want to tell us about your plans for this permit?
We applied for the beer and wine permit to sell for like dinner.
If I remember, you guys had applied earlier in the year. But what was the issue with that? What happened?
Earlier this year.
Right, because this is your second application for this one.
Oh, the first one, I think it was done for liquor also, but we just wanted the beer and wine.
Okay. And then, I've been through there, so you guys don't have a bar. And you guys will just bring it out to your customers who request it, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, final inspection's approved. No church or school. Table service only.
Motion approved, or?
Do you have experience with operating a beer and wine license?
A little bit.
You have another location on Pontiac, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
They have a
then
permit. Yeah.
before this, the same location I already have, but it's the new permit,
Oh,
the same location.
and no violations or anything?
Hmm.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second?
The motion approved in a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
For sticking around.
Any other business for the board? Seeing none, it is 10:44 and we are adjourned.